Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I haven't posted a video in a couple of weeks, and it's mostly just because I've been focusing on new stuff that I want to do, and also just trying to think of creative things to do and stuff like that. Also, this looks really dumb because I cannot find my tripod anywhere, so you're like propped up on my MacBook, which just looks so bad, and I'm so sorry that you have to watch me like this, but I hope that it gives you more of a feel if we actually are having like a discussion and a conversation about this topic. I don't think I mentioned it in my last video, but I mentioned it a couple times on social media that I'm thinking about taking another direction with my channel, and it's just gonna be where I like sit down and discuss stuff with my camera, so you guys, and hopefully you guys like that, and we can just talk about a lot of different topics, and a lot of topics that usually people don't want to talk about just because they're a little bit uncomfortable to talk about, and I totally understand that, but at the same time, these topics are important, and they should be talked about, and we should be focusing and worrying about these things and shining more light on them so it's not as stigmatized, if that makes sense. So I guess let's just get right into it and let's talk about it. So today's video, I know, but I'm anxious right now, so that's okay. So this video, I want to sit down and I want to talk to you guys about mental health, because mental health is very stigmatized and people don't want to talk about mental health, and they don't want to talk about their struggles with mental health and what they're going through, and that's just not how it should be, because people who are struggling with their mental health have a lot to say about it, I'm sure, but just don't want to. I know personally I have a lot of stuff to say about it, and I am pretty open and honest about things that I'm going through, things I've been through, things that I continue to go through, and things that I continue to deal with, and I just want there to be like an open discussion about this topic, because it's really, like, I cannot stress enough how important it is. And I'm so sorry if like me talking with my hands is really distracting, but that's just how it goes, I guess. So personally, I'm only gonna talk really about things that I personally deal with, just because I don't want to sit here and give you guys like some bullshit about, you know, what other people are dealing with when I don't have anything to say about it. I don't have a lot to contribute, and I don't want to sit here and give a false narrative about how that is for other people. So I hope that in the future this series is big enough where I can sit down with people and we can have an open discussion and talk about things that other people are dealing with that I don't really have any insight in, but should still be talked about. So personally, I struggle with depression and anxiety pretty badly, especially recently. It's been really bad for me. I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety at the same time when I was a freshman in high school, and so it's something that I've struggled with for really like way longer than that, but that's just when it was diagnosed, and it has been very eye-opening to know what is wrong with me, but also very scary because of the fact that now that I know what it is, when I like want to sit down and I want to talk about like, hey, I'm depressed, the first thing that people say is like, well, don't kill yourself. I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like, I'm just depressed, I'm sad. And a lot of people just don't understand because they don't go through it, or they do go through it and they just don't know what they're going through and all of that stuff. And so like I said, I just want to have a talk about it. So with my depression and anxiety, it has gotten worse recently, and I'm trying to find ways to cope with it. Currently, I've just been eating my feelings, which is not good because then I eat my feelings and then I don't like the way that I look, so I struggle a lot with like body dysmorphia because a lot of people tell me, no, you're small, and I'm like, no, like I am not. I've gotten way bigger, I've gained a lot of weight, and I know that it's because of the fact that I am depressed and I don't have the motivation to do anything. I struggle so hard with just getting up in the morning and trying to go out and do stuff, and it's something that I'm trying to get better at, but I am struggling with it a lot. And I am not the only one who struggles with this stuff. I'm sure that there's people watching that struggle with it, but anxiety is more, I think people want to think that every little time that they're a little bit nervous about something, it's anxiety. And for me, I get anxious about almost everything recently. I have applied to go to college recently. I took a placement test. Like, I was so anxious. I almost had a panic attack while I was there just because it was a lot for me to take in. I don't know, like, my anxiety is just really not great, and with that, obviously, like, I become depressed because I can't focus on anything. Like, I'm just all, like, my brain is all over the place all the time and I can't focus. But 3.1% of the US population has general anxiety disorder, and you're gonna think that that's a really small number, but that's actually 6.8 million people. 6.8 million people are struggling with general anxiety disorder, and it's still something that's stigmatized, which I don't understand at all, because if so many people are going through it, it should be talked about way more. And that's people over 18. People 13 to 18 years old, their percentage is 25.1%. 25.1% of the US population between the ages of 13 and 18 struggles with an anxiety disorder. That's insane. That's like 1/4 of our population struggles with anxiety, but yet people don't feel like they can openly speak about it, and I just don't think that that's fair. And depression is the leading cause of disability worldwide. In the entire, on the whole earth, that's the number one cause of disability, which is mind-blowing. If that's the number one cause of disability, why are we not talking about it? Why are we not sitting down and discussing these things? Why are we not doing whatever we can to help who we can and fix, you can't fix someone, but you can help them, and you can sit down and you can make them feel loved and appreciated and all these other things. But why is that the number one cause of disability worldwide and we still can't talk about it? That makes no sense. I don't get it. So, when you think about anxiety, depression, the first thing that they talk to you about is treatment. How can we fix this for you? And a lot of times you're gonna hear therapy, which therapy is amazing. I am not able to currently go to therapy, but I used to go to therapy and it definitely helped a lot. Medication is not for everyone, and I am proof of that because I have been on anxiety medication before and it did not go well for me at all. So I've just chosen not to be on anxiety medication because it made my symptoms much worse, and that's just what I've dealt with, and I haven't wanted to try out more things because I'm just worried that I'll get back to that really dark place and I don't want to be there. And then they'll also talk to you about more natural treatments. So when I was diagnosed, my doctor told me, like, oh, you could exercise, like, you could find a new hobby that you really enjoy, you could get a pet. Apparently having a pet helps. And so I have been trying over the years to find something that I really enjoy, that I can always find joy in, but it's just been really difficult, especially when I get into these, like, like, you know, you have your hills and then you have your valleys, and I am in a valley. I'm really, like, I'm working on getting back up the hill, but right now I'm just low. And it's hard to try and focus on anything else besides how anxious and how upset I am when I am so low. And I don't know, I just think that if there was more people that were out talking about it and talking about their depression and talking about their issues, we would be in a lot better place, because there would be more options for people to go and talk to other people about it. And I just want to open up that discussion, and I'm not really sure how many people will actually watch this video or anything like that, but I hope that this starts a discussion with you, where starts a discussion with your friends, and you guys are able to really openly talk about this matter, because it is, I cannot stress enough how important it is. So I just want to talk about why I think mental health isn't really discussed that often, and why I think it should be discussed more often. So I really think that mental health is not discussed because there isn't a lot of, I don't want to say not a lot of research, because there is a lot of research on it, but the fact is that your mental health affects you differently than anyone else's mental health affects them. No two people's mental health is the same. It's never going to be the same, and you are living a completely different life from anyone else. So when it really comes down to it, you want to talk about things openly, but it becomes a little bit difficult because of the fact that, you know, you're struggling with something. Maybe someone else you know is really struggling and you guys want to reach out to each other, but sometimes you don't have the mental space to deal with someone else's health. And that's just the truth. Like, sometimes your mental health is so bad and you just don't have the mental space to take on anything else. And that's totally okay. It is totally 100% okay to not have the mental space to take on something else. If you can barely even focus on yourself, you should not feel like you need to focus on someone else, ever. You know, like, you need to take the time for yourself to just sit there and figure out, like, is this going to help me? How is it going to help me? You know, how can I get better? What can I do to make myself better? Because until you're feeling better, you will not be able to fully give someone else the attention that they may need mental health wise. And you may be saying, like, oh no, like, I can do it, it's fine. But the fact of the matter is that it's going to drain you. You know, mental health already drains you, and when you're focusing all of your attention and your energy on trying to help someone else, you're just getting more and more drained. And that's just how it is. And that's how I've dealt with it. I'm not sure how other people have dealt with it, just because I'm not other people. I don't know most other people's struggles with it. Obviously, I talked to some of my friends about what's going on, but not everyone wants to openly have a discussion, and that's totally okay. But I just think that mental health isn't discussed as widely because everyone struggles differently, so it's harder to pinpoint what really causes you to struggle. And people want to stigmatize the struggle because what a lot of people learn about depression comes from, like, books, movies. It doesn't come from actually knowing someone who's openly depressed. And I know when I was in middle school and I was depressed, I was made fun of a lot for being sad, and it drove me really, really far down into a hole because I didn't feel like anyone was there for me. And that's something that I've always struggled with, and I probably always will struggle with, because sometimes you just feel so alone, and the fact is that you're not alone. So many people are struggling with this too, and I just wish that more people wanted to talk about it. But I have noticed recently that a lot more people are talking about it. A lot more people, especially celebrities, are talking about it. I know Zayn Malik from One Direction, well, formerly from One Direction, came out and like talked about his anxiety and about how he had to cancel his whole tour because of his anxieties. And Britney Spears literally had her 2007 mental breakdown where she smashed the car window in with her umbrella, she shaved her head, and she literally said that that was because of all of the stress and anxiety from being in the public eye. And people continue to make fun of her for that. People continue to make fun of Britney Spears for having that breakdown in 2007. But nobody talks about what led to it. And I just think more people need to be talking about that. A lot of people now are also watching a lot of YouTube, and there's a lot of YouTubers that are more open about what they're struggling with. Shane Dawson is really open about struggling with his anxiety, and he's been open about struggling with his eating disorders and his sexuality, and I think that's so, so important, especially for someone that has 20 million followers, and a lot of people watch him and take in his content, and I think it's so important that he is sitting there and telling people that, yes, I am struggling, but I'm working on it, and I'm trying, and I'm working on getting better. Elle Mills just had her whole breakdown from YouTube, and she's just the stress of it was all too much. When you're stressed, you can fall into a hole. Stress can cause you to be depressed and anxious, and when you're not sitting there and you're not taking time for yourself, it can make it so, so much worse. And recently, I saw a video that Ethan Klein put out. And Ethan Klein is also, he's from H3H3 Podcast Productions, and he has been open about his struggle with mental health as well, about how he was depressed when he was a teenager, and how his wife Ela really helped him with all of that. And then there's people that want to make videos and be like, oh, well, you're depressed because of this, and you're depressed because of that, and it's just that's not why people are depressed, and people don't openly talk about depression to be slammed for why they're depressed. I don't need you to tell me why I'm depressed, because I already know, and I also don't need anyone to ever tell me that I shouldn't be depressed. You should never, ever, ever tell someone that they shouldn't be depressed. You should never be like, oh, your family loves you, you shouldn't be depressed, or you have money, so you can't be depressed because you have money. How can you be sad when you have money? And being sad and having money are not, they don't equate to each other. You can't just be happy because you have money. That's not how it works. Depression is usually a chemical imbalance in your brain. I know that my family loves me. I know that my fiance loves me. I know that my friends love me. But that doesn't mean that I'm not sad. And it doesn't mean that I'm not struggling. And I don't need anyone to ever tell me that I shouldn't be allowed to struggle with my mental illness just because I have people that love me. Because that's not how it works. And I'm aware that people love me, and I'm aware that people try for me, and I'm aware of all of those things. But when you sit there and you tell me that I have no right to be sad or to feel this way just because people do love me and do care about me, that makes me feel worse. Because even though I am aware of all of those things, I can't just turn my depression off, and I can't be like, oh yeah, you're right, people do love me, people do care about me, I have no reason to feel this way, because that's not how it works. Do I have a reason to feel this way? I don't know, but I do feel this way, and I do struggle with it, and I struggle with a lot of things, and I don't want someone to tell me that I'm not allowed to struggle, because I am, and you're allowed to struggle, and I'm never going to tell you that you can't struggle, because struggling is a part of life. Everyone struggles at one point. Some people just struggle a little bit longer, but we're all gonna get through it together, and it'll be okay. And we will come out on top, and it'll be fine, and we will be okay. But I guess I just want to end this video and just say that I really am excited to start this series and to talk about things that a lot of people don't really want to talk about, because I'm sick of having to pretend like my mental health is at peak performance. It is not. I am struggling, and I have been struggling for a very long time, and I don't know when the struggling will end, but I hope it'll end soon. But when people don't fully understand the struggle, that makes it a little bit harder, and that's okay. And it's also okay to take people out of your life who don't understand or who don't check on you. It's okay to remove people that are toxic or that you don't feel like are putting in the effort to be your friend. It's okay to remove those people, and I really hope that, one day, if you don't yet feel confident in doing that, I hope that one day you do, because it'll open so many more doors to so many more friendships and to so much more love. And if you ever need someone to talk to, you can reach out to me. I have all my social media links down in the description, and you're welcome to reach out to me at any time. I really don't know how many people will even see this video, but I hope that, everyone that does watch it, you feel good afterwards. You feel like we're connected and that you have a friend, because I'm your friend, and even if I don't know you, we can be friends. I'm ready to take on your friendship. So thank you guys for watching. I really hope that you guys will come back for more. I have a lot more stuff that I do want to talk about. Hopefully I find my tripod, and hopefully I get my life together. I don't really know if either one of those will happen, but I guess stay tuned to find out. Thanks for watching. Love you.